Welcome to the Micheaux Mission, Two Men, One Podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I'm joined as always by my partner.
Hey, what's up? This is Len, aka the Bat Tribble.
And here we are, 2 weeks in, with Mother May I. And on this, the second stop, in the second week of a journey that I feel like I've been on for half my life. We are going to spend time with 1998's magnum opus, I Got the Hookup. Starring Anthony Johnson, Master P, C. Murder, Gretchen Palmer, and a cast of characters. The choice of Lynn Webb. Here, in the second week of 4 weeks of Mother May I. But before we talk about I Got the Hookup,
well, here's the thing.
A film that comes in at 1 hour and 33 minutes, and yet at points I felt like I had been watching it for 3 days. Len, I believe we have some business to attend to.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. As always, we like to thank each and every one of you out there watching us streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Shout out to each and every one of you. Robert Monroe Jr., Aaron Fry, AJ Marshall, Deborah Battle. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello. Good evening, folks. Good evening.
We will find out tonight whether or not we, in fact, dodged the bullet by being unable to secure a copy of 3 Strikes last week.
Yeah.
But we were able to get our hands on the hookup. We got the hookup for I Got the Hookup.
That's what I hear. Yes.
We got an email, Vince.
Okay.
From Sharon Eldridge.
Hey, Sharon.
The subject, The Secret Life of Bees.
Oh.
Hi, Vincent Len. I'm here having a movie marathon and just watched The Secret Life of Bees, a movie that mostly escaped my attention when it came out. Seeing that it is a Black produced, Black directed, and mostly Black starring film, I am wondering if it is on your list. I checked through all your episodes, at least those that Stitcher would show me, and I don't see that you've reviewed it already. So I guess this is me checking in to make sure it's on your list. Cheers, and looking forward to Tuesday and the watch party on May 21st, when we and the missionaries will getting together to close out Mother May I, to sit down and watch Medea Goes to Jail.
Medea Goes to Jail. Well, we have not done The Secret Life of Bees.
No, we haven't. I actually, and it definitely is, while it's a movie on my radar, it's a movie that I have not seen. Have you seen that movie?
I've seen it. I don't remember much about it. I feel like that was the first film that I noticed they were trying to pivot with Queen Latifah a little bit into the, like, remember Queen Latifah had that vein of roles where she was like matronly?
What are you thinking of? What are you? I'm not sure.
There's the movie that she was in the choir with Keke Palmer. There's another movie where she's like somebody's mother or she's a mother figure. And The Secret Life of Bees. I remember, I think it's a little white girl that she ends up either adopting or mentoring or some type. And I remember when it came out, I was thinking, they're trying to pivot Queen Latifah.
See, that's the thing. I don't remember. See, now you got me to the Google. You've got me thinking about this. I don't think I've ever seen a Queen Latifah film where she has played a mother. And I'm not saying she hasn't, but I don't think I've ever seen a film where she's played. I know she was a mother on, of course, the TV series Star.
Right. But that was even a little later. There was definitely the choir movie. What's the choir movie she was in with Dolly Parton and Keke Palmer?
I'm about to find out, Vince. Let's see. The choir movie with
You should be able to tell from the title because it's something like Sweet Praises or.
I'm not seeing a film like that. I'm just looking around. Secret Life of Bees came out in 2008. Okay.
Right.
So if I just go back to 2003, in the Queen Latifah filmography, we have Bringing Down the House, Taxi, The Cookout, Barbershop 2, Beauty Shop, Stranger Than Fiction. Then she does a voiceover in The Ice Age, The Meltdown, The Last Holiday. I think that's the movie with
that's the one with LL.
Well, LL, yeah, right. Then Hairspray, The Perfect Holiday.
She's the mother in Hairspray. She plays the mother in Hairspray.
Oh, is she?
Mm-hmm. And what year was Hairspray?
Hairspray is 2007.
So that's after this. After The Secret Life of Bees.
Secret Life of Bees is 2008.
Okay. All right. So that's 2 where she's a mother. And then keep going. I'll tell you the movie.
All right. So then after Hairspray, we've got The Perfect Holiday, Mad Money, which is with Diane Keaton and Katie Holmes. What Happens in Vegas, then Secret Life of Bees. And after Secret Life of Bees is another Ice Age movie, Valentine's Day, Just Right. Oh, Just Right. I think the movie you're thinking about, Vince, is Joyful Noise. That comes out in 2012.
Joyful Noise.
Yeah. With Queen Latifah, Dolly Parton, Keke Palmer, and Courtney B. Vance.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But again, all I really remember about The Secret Life of Bees, I thought it was an interesting direction for Queen Latifah because she was still, like what year is The Secret Life of Bees?
2008. 2008. Joyful Noise is 2012.
So maybe she's 40 in 2008.
Maybe.
Which I know Hollywood 40, but Black don't crack 40. I just remember going, they're trying to make her matronly, huh?
2008, she's getting there because she was born in 1970, so she's on her way.
Oh, right, so she's not even 40 yet. Yeah. But that's all I really remember.
See, Secret Life of Bees is one of those films that has definitely been on my radar to bring up on the mission. However, longtime listeners of the show will know that Vince and I will very periodically bring on guests to come on to the show. And when we do, we usually ask them to select a film of their own to review. And while we're open to, guests of all shapes and sizes, because we are 2 guys, we do try to get some, women representation here on the show, on the mission. And it's one of those films that while I don't have a problem reviewing it on my own, I kind of keep pushing it off because it's a film I kind of think that, someone's going to say, hey, I want to review this film. You know what I mean? And I kind of want to keep that out there for them to select, Who
directed that? I forgot who directed that.
The Secret Life of Bees?
No, that was just Lethal Weapon 2. What have you been talking about for the past 10 minutes?
I mean, we were also talking about Joyful Noise, so I mean, it's not like it's not an out of. That was directed by. Let's get there. Secret Life of Bees. Gina Prince Bythewood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. And, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith were also producers on that.
Is Alicia Keys in that?
Alicia Keys? Let's see. Now we're doing a deep dive on The Secret Life of Bees, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it shouldn't be that deep because if she's who I remember, she's like one of the main cast members. She is
in that film. So is Sophie Okonedo, who's come up before.
It's not a bad cast.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about the film.
It's not a bad cast. I remember Alicia Keys did all right, and to be clear, Queen Latifah did well. I just thought it was, again, I don't think about Queen Latifah like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah,
So,
Queen Latifah, Dakota Fanning, Jennifer Hudson, Alicia Keys, Sophia Okonedo, Paul Bettany. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
yeah. Like you said, that's a pretty crackerjack cast.
yeah.
But burying the lead, what I also got from that, so Stitcher doesn't have all the episodes.
They have most of them. I mean, we're on episode 251 right now. So you kind of,
Yeah.
you gotta go searching for a little bit more. Like you gotta keep loading
Okay,
episodes.
for those of y'all who really like, I know you can go get all the episodes through our website,
Yes,
and I know Apple Podcasts lets you
Apple
go back
Podcasts.
all the way.
Yeah, yeah. But some of the distributors keep like a limited number,
Sure.
and that's also Podglomerate as well. Keeping hold on that content a little bit.
All right. All right.
Hey.
So there you go, Sharon. Secret Life of Bees.
Yes.
At some point.
On the mission.
This is a sidebar, but it is sort of related. Have you seen any cicadas?
No, I have not.
All right, I'm gonna just put this out to the missionaries. As in, my boy was talking today. The cicadas have arrived.
Oh, really?
In PG County in Maryland.
Okay, all right.
Like he said, and it was like the old school, because 17 years ago, I don't remember seeing them that much. Like I remember seeing, like, I'm old enough. This is my third cicada.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being a teenager, and it was biblical. Like, what was that, like 87? It had to have been 87, 88.
That sounds about right.
Like, were they bad in Philly?
I don't ever remember. Like, I've had people talk about, like, literally locusts of cicadas, like, like coming into the area. I don't ever remember it getting that bad, but I definitely have been like, oh, where all these bugs keep coming from? Yeah, and they'd be in the house. You see them, like, on your curtains, and yeah.
87, 88, it was bananas. And then I remember, so I guess 17, what was that, 2004?
Mm-hmm.
I remember 2004, it wasn't that bad. Like, I was sort of girding my loins because I remember how bad it was when I was a teenager. And then, there it is.
Deborah Battle says, yes, they're back.
Also in the DMV.
They're in the DMV.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, there they are. Hey, that was our first time looking at that graphic. That graphic looks kind of cool like that.
I talked to you before we started. Lynn got it all. It's all. I'll just tell y'all, like, I'll whet y'all's appetite. Lynn said he's getting ready for when he and I are back together.
Yeah, when we back doing it live.
Right. It's coming in June. Coming in June. We're gonna be like, it's gonna be like that image of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers together in Predator.
Yeah.
Except both of us are black. It'll be like Carl Weathers shaking his hand together with Carl Weathers. Lynn, you son of a bitch. And we're gonna go. We're gonna put our hands together in a soul grip.
And then we're gonna go like this, and the pick's gonna come out.
That's right.
Just start picking what's left.
Yeah, but Lynn's getting it fancy.
Sharon Eldridge said no about the cicadas. She's in Chicago, but going back home to the DMV in 2 days. She is not ready for that. She says it wasn't back in 87 and 88, and they scared the hell out of her. So
yeah, it was wild. Like, I remember being wild.
All right, well.
All right, that's all I had about the cicadas. I was just curious.
They're back.
Yeah, they're back. They are back.
Hey, Vince, I had an interesting conversation. I had a fun conversation here the other day. I thought you might get a kick out of this a little bit. Our social media director, Toya Haynes, was over at the house the other day, and she was recording her second podcast. She's becoming like a podcast maven. She was recording her second podcast, Unsung Unwrapped, where she and her cousin, Nikki Wright, they review episodes of Unsung, right? So, and it's kind of cool. They actually did a, I think the episode that's going up is their review of Unsung's with Leela James, which is actually pretty cool. I like myself some Leela James. So anyway, but we got into a conversation about verses, the verses, like Instagram things that have been going on.
Sure.
And we tried to figure out some type of mathematical equation where all of the components of New Edition could do a versus against one another, and Ralph Tresvant could win at least one round.
Interesting.
We failed.
It would have to be, well, I would like the only thing, like, I remember being fairly underwhelmed by Johnny Gill's first album, Chemistry.
The first one when he was like a young buck?
Right, when he's sitting at the piano in like the rented tuxedo and he's got the Jerry curl.
Is that Half Crazy?
That's the Half Crazy album. But besides
Right.
Half Crazy, I don't remember that album being that good.
Well, there's got to be a track.
And Ralph Tresvant's first album might be better than the Half Crazy album.
Okay, I don't know about that. Well, Bree
Is that Sensitivity? So Sensitivity, is that the name of his first album?
Well, I mean, that's the only song off of it worth mentioning. Yeah, Sensitivity.
Sensitivity is not as good as Half Crazy. So, like, I'm hoping the rest of the album kind of picks up the.
I think Sensitivity may be his only shot. I think he did an album. I think he did a track on
the Mo Money soundtrack.
On the Mo Money soundtrack?
Yeah, Money Can't Buy You Love, which is a good song.
It's a good song, but
yeah, Ralph don't have much. Ralph don't have much. We say it in my house all the time. Sometimes, Lynn, you're not going to understand this, but just go with me. Sometimes you can't even bid board. The best you can do is hope that you make your opponent overconfident and set them. But sometimes you just don't have the cards to bid board. Like, we're bidding board, but all we got is story. And I think that's Ralph Tresvant.
I understood all that spades talk. I was there.
There you go. All right.
I don't play spades, but I sit in the room and drink while it's going on. I enjoy it.
All right. There you go. Now you can talk sports for 3 minutes if you want. I can.
See, I don't know. You guess it says that he does have New Edition, but here's the thing: you can't if it's the components of New Edition going up against one another.
Right. Like they break and go solo, or they're. So is BBD a unit?
Yeah. So it'll be BBD, Johnny Gill, Ralph, Bobby Brown,
Ralph, and right.
Now, to be fair, Bobby's going to smack all of them. Like
I was about to say, they're all fighting for second.
Right. Maybe BBD gets a match if they got, maybe if Poison is up against a lesser Bobby Brown track that may top it, or Do Me Baby.
Are we going song by song?
Well, that's the way you have to do it. They from what I understand, they choose a song that'll then go up against one another.
Right. So like Poison might be able to beat like the theme song to Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah. I think Poison beats that.
Barely? Poison is barely a better song than On Our Own.
Well, Poison is
barely?
But it's more popular. Poison is definitely going to Poison's going to get you up and moving. You know what I mean? So it's going to beat that.
Yeah, but Bobby is here. You go. And I'm gonna do another one. Wait, you still with me? You froze. Did you freeze or did I freeze?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Bobby is what we call Bobby is what we call Spade's type.
Right. Exactly.
Like Bobby got so many, he can just draw people out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You guessed it says that BBD's whole album is near perfect. I ain't gonna go there.
That first album. It's a surprisingly solid album. It's not Bobby Brown level, but it's a good album.
Yeah, but to say it's near perfect, I mean, like, it's not near perfect. There are some like middling tracks on there, all right?
Yeah.
But not many. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not perfect, and it's not Bobby Brown. I'm curious though, Vince. Now, real quick, do you have a favorite Bobby Brown album?
You know what? I get them mixed up because there's the first one is like Girlfriend, I think it's called.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, they actually. The main one. The main one.
What do you mean the main one?
No, is that Bobby Brown? Is that the one where he has on like the double-breasted gray suit and the turtleneck?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Is that Bobby Brown?
Yeah, that's his first one.
That's the one.
I do like that one. That's not my favorite one.
You're talking about damn near a perfect album.
It's a very good album. Very good album. You got Babyface working on there. I think
Teddy Riley.
And Teddy Riley. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think my favorite Bobby Brown album is, and I know the missionaries are going to help me. The one where his back is to the camera on the cover. It's black and white.
Oh,
and he sings the Nothing in Common with Whitney.
Oh, you.
I like that album.
You're just being contrary. That album's not better than Bobby Brown.
I'm saying it's my favorite, though.
Yes, because you're being contrary.
No, it's not because I'm being contrary.
Because it's not better than Bobby Brown.
It's not because I'm being contrary. I actually like that album. It's called Bobby. No. It's called Bobby.
No, it's a solid album. But come on, man, stop.
I'm not saying
that's not better than Bobby Brown.
Again, I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying it's my favorite.
Right, because you're contrary.
It's not because I'm contrary. It's because
is it a little Kim feature on it?
No, it's not a little Kim track on there. I'm looking at it right now. I like Two Can Play the Game. I like
Humping Around.
I love Getaway, which is a Teddy Riley track.
It's a good song. It's a good album.
Pretty Little Girl, Something in Common, One More Night, That's the Way Love Is. I like the album. I like that.
It's not better than Bobby Brown.
Okay. All right.
Like everyone talked crazy about Whitney Houston when she said Bobby Brown was the king of R&B, and everybody laughs at ha ha ha. Whitney Houston smoking crack, ha ha ha. But when you really think about it, it wasn't a bad argument.
Well, true. Now here's the thing: Bobby Brown actually had an album before that. His first debut solo album was King of Stage, which had the singles Girlfriend, 17, and Girl Next Door.
I thought that was called Girlfriend, but King of Stage, that's not a bad album either.
And then he put out Don't Be Cruel. That's actually the name of the album.
Don't Be Cruel.
Yeah, the logo Bobby Brown is so much bigger. So that's why. Yeah, but that's the album with pretty much every damn song.
Everything. My Prerogative, Tenderoni. Every little step you take, Rock with You. Like it's like an album full of greatest hits.
Yeah. Good album. I'm not good. Vince, if you,
because Lynn, I'll sit here and talk about New Edition for the next hour.
Oh, dude, I've already told.
I'll say, hey, y'all, don't watch this shitty movie, and then we'll go back and talk.
I've already told Toya that when she's ready to do like a First Time I Heard with New Edition, I don't care what special guest she gets. I don't care if she gets New Edition. I'm going to be there. Like,
right.
I don't care. I will talk about New Edition all day. But I'm curious, Vince. I don't know how often you watch these verses. You know, one of the
Not
most
at all.
recent. Something told me you were going to land there, but if or is there a potential versus that if you saw this lineup might bring you to the Instagram live to check it out?
The Roots versus Outkast.
Okay. Wow. That would be a great one.
You know why I thought about that so quickly?
Why?
Because that has been the central music argument that my brother and I have had for 2 decades.
What? Who's better?
Who's better, the Roots or Outkast?
Ooh.
And you know who the winner is?
Everybody.
Me and my brother, because we get to listen to the Roots and Outkast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Everybody in that one. Shoot, just sitting marinating that. That's a good one.
Not quite Outkast. The best concert I've ever been to in my entire life. Goody Mob opened.
Mm-hmm.
The Roots and the Fugees were touring together, and they were going back and forth.
I remember that
about
tour.
who. Right. So I saw Outkast, the Fugees, and the Roots.
Oh wow. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I saw the Goody Mob, the Fugees, and the Roots.
That's a good concert. Best concert I ever saw was Prince at Tower Theater. But yeah. That's right there.
I saw Outkast open for Lauryn Hill, though.
I bet that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen Lauryn Hill in concert. Never seen the Fugees in concert. Never seen her.
Look, we clown Lauryn Hill and she don't show up and she crazy. That was a good ass concert.
I believe it. I do believe it, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Bree 517 is talking about SWV versus Escape, which I think either just happened or is about to happen. Yeah.
And that's a good one. Because both of them are very good.
Yeah, I mean they are. Yeah. I think I love myself some Escape. I love myself some Candy on Escape, but I think I would probably see SWV coming out in that. But I don't know. Who knows? All right. Well, I see Miss Makiba has joined the chat.
We talked about New Edition for 20 minutes.
She said, I love Andre and Antoine, but I'm going with the Roots. See?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, she may be my favorite missionary. This is what I'm telling you. And with Miss Makiba joining the chat, it means that it's time, Vince.
We can't talk about music anymore?
Tell Vince, we have work to do. You remember the work?
I can't talk about the time like I went to see De La Soul and Souls of Mischief open. It was one of the greatest complimentary things I've ever seen. Souls of Mischief opened for De La Soul, and when De La Soul went on, Souls of Mischief came out the back and stood in front of the stage and watched De La Soul.
Nice.
Like they were just straight fans.
Nice.
All right, one more concert story. And I actually wrote about this. So like you remember like before Left Eye died and TLC, they were kind of on the outs.
Yes.
And they had the concert and Left Eye was like, we need to have separate concerts. Like they were wilding out.
Right.
So covered the TLC concert for the City Paper in Baltimore. And City Paper, and oh my goodness, I forget one of the acts that opened for them. Like one of these dudes that somehow still has a career. Like one of them Midland R&B singers that in that Tyrese school of singer, Tyrese Genuine, he opened, and then it was these 4 girls that opened, and they were amazing. Like they were like what I joked about, and I joked with my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. I said, them girls are up there performing. Like if they don't get this right, they not gonna eat tonight. Mm-hmm. And then TLC did their show, and you could tell the energy was off. And what my lead was that TLC, you could tell that there was tension in the group, and they need to get themselves together because there are hungry acts coming for them. And if they don't watch themselves, these girls from Houston named, let me look at my notes, Destiny's Child is going to eat up TLC. So there you go. I saw Destiny's Child, and when they were like real young and real hungry and moving real fast.
Nice. Very
you
nice.
Want to, we can just sit and talk about concerts if you want.
No, Vince, we have work to do. It's
you
May.
You want to just sit and talk about concerts?
Oh, I would love to, Vince, but that's another show.
My parents saw Sammy Davis Jr. when my mother was pregnant with me.
That explains a lot. It's time for us to...
You made me drop my mic. That's a true story.
I believe you. It's time for us to get into our review of 1998, I Got the Hookup. But now it's time for trailer talk.
It's time for trailer talk.
Miss Makiba, she's feeling some type of way. She said, this is the second time y'all have made me the timekeeper, but I was on time tonight. And yes, Miss Makiba, I did see you earlier in the chat. I did see you there, but I was still giving you your special shout out. If you don't like me giving your special shout out, I won't. I'll give it to George Kimona, who showed up just after you. But I
saw the Roots open for themselves. Wow. Well, there you go.
Wow. The Roots versus Outkast. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. I do like Outkast, man. I wish they would record again.
Of course.
I really do.
Of course you do. We all do.
But who knows? Maybe one day.
I went to see Tribe Called Quest on my 21st birthday, and I thought it was going to be a riot because the rumor that was going through the crowd was that this is when Fife used to get sick periodically, and the rumor was that Fife wasn't going to be there.
Oh, okay.
And you could feel that. You know how like when something's about to pop off, and you can feel it in the air. It was about to pop off, and then Fife came out.
Nice. I remember going to what was it? Doom Day here in Philly years ago, and KRS-One was supposed to be the featured act, and we were standing at the stage for 3 hours waiting for KRS-One to show up, and they kept saying like, he's coming in from New York, he's stuck in traffic, he's on his way, and the Doom Day happens, takes place on the streets of South Philly. So, we're at this makeshift stage, and we're waiting, and me and my friends, we had worked our way to the front of the stage so we could kind of like see the back of the stage. So if he was going to be coming up, we could see. And they started talking about KRS-One is here. He's on his way to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. And we're looking, and I'm like, ain't nobody coming to the stage. I could clearly see in the back. There's nobody coming to the stage. And they're like, put your hands together for KRS-One. All the power went out. All the power went out on the stage, and the whole like street, all of it went out because we had waited so long that it had gotten past their permit time, and boom, power. It was time to shut it down. And then they were just like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We got to go. We're out of time. Good night." That was it. It was a wrap. It was ugly. And Vince is frozen. I thought Vince was just looking very disinterested at me, ladies and gentlemen. But he is frozen. And this is interesting because I don't know if I'm frozen on his side. He's bowed out, and he's going to be coming back in. And when he comes back in, we will get to our review of I Got the Hookup. And there he is.
Yeah, I lost you for a second.
I was like, Vince is like totally disinterested in my story. He is not.
No.
Dude, because you were froze like this.
Like I did the screensaver and went and got a snack.
Exactly. You did like a screen capture. I was like, dude is like really. At first, I was like, you were mesmerized, and I was like, he ain't blinking.
Oh, we're gonna be talking some nonsense for 5 minutes. Let me go get a snack. That would be terrible. You think I'm a terrible human being? You are saying nothing of value. I'm going in and get some Twizzlers.
Robert Monroe says he saw KRS-One at Rutgers. He was hours late, performed for about 30 minutes. He got booed all night long. There you go.
Yeah. He came to Maryland and yelled at us and said we were dumb for going to college. That's kind of... Yeah, well, he's a polarizing figure. Let's put it that way. A polarizing figure, yes, indeed.
He always
is. Indeed. You must learn.
Aaliyah Muhammad says, "I'm ready for this. Ready for our review of I've got the hookup.
I got the hookup.
All right. All right. Well,
you ready?
Without further ado, let's bring you that review. See what I did there?
Yeah. I Got the Hookup is a 1998 crime comedy film starring Anthony Johnson, Master P, and Gretchen Palmer. Working out of their van, Black, played by Master P, and Blue, played by Anthony Johnson, deal in TV sets and boom boxes. But after a driver mistakenly drops off a cell phone shipment, business is on the upswing until the local crime boss Roscoe and his enforcer Tile, played by Tommy Lester, have a deal go sour and blame Black and Blue. Also, Black's girlfriend Lorraine, played by Gretchen Palmer's boss Dalton, and the FBI are closing in on the illicit cell phones. 1998's I Got the Hookup, directed by Michael Martin, written by Carrie Mungo, Leroy Douglas, and Master P himself, was the first No Limit Records theatrical release. The second film that we will talk about in this year's Mother May I, and the choice of Lynn Webb. Lynn, what say you of I Got the Hookup? It's always hard to start the Mother May I film review, isn't it?
So I sat down to watch I Got the Hookup. And immediately upon turning on the film, you are met with two women pushing a television, a very old television. It looks like your great-grandmother's television. They are pushing it in a shopping cart through the streets, struggling with this television and lacing the screen with profanities. These two Black women. And they let out such a stream of obscenities between F-bombs and B-words and, GDs and MFs and scatological droppings and all this other type of stuff. We're not on radio right now, and I could say these words, but I'm trying to be judicious, which is something that I Got the Hookup cannot be, is not guilty of. They let out such a stream of consciousness of obscenities that I stopped the film 5 minutes in, rewound it, took out my notepad and began an experiment where I made a check mark for every F-bomb and B word that was going to be in this film. Okay? Now, 15 minutes into the movie, as my count is at 35 B words and 47 F words, 15 minutes into the movie.
Oh yeah.
I stopped the film again and said, well, this is not going to work. I'm not even paying attention to the film. I'm busy. All I'm doing is just checking left and right.
Right.
So I rewound the film again and said, all right, let me just sit here and just take in the film for what it has to offer, right? At which point, an hour into the movie, I found myself asking a question, is this movie not over yet? Because this is... because this feels like a movie in search of a story. It is just going on and on and on. You start at this kind of junkyard mall type of thing that Black and Blue are selling everything in their mama out of. I mean, somebody actually, with no refunds, somebody is actually trying to return, if I understand, a package of pig feet to this little outside mall. There is a abandoned car that is set up as the credit window where people can get their credit approved in 40 minutes so that they can buy whatever in this street mall. They are gifted by somebody dropping off some, unchipped cell phones at their location, to get in the wrong address. And then they, of course, have a friend that can hook them up, because he can, work wonders around chips and chips up these phones so that they can sell these phones dirt cheap. And now they're making money hand over fist selling the phones. And there's a montage of them selling the phones in the streets, and people are walking, talking with the phones. And even though there's feedback on the phone, even though there's cross lines on the phone, everybody's got it for the cheap, so they don't care, and they're making money hand over fist. And it's all just going on, but it's just going on and on and on. And all of a sudden, like, Master P's got some girlfriend, Lorraine, who works at a cell phone company, who can kind of like delete the records of the calls or something so that they don't get caught. But of course they catch wind of it. All of a sudden, the Federal Bureau of Telephones, I don't know who it is, I don't know, the man comes out and is caught on to this, like, what's this explosion of cell phones in the West Side? We have to stop this, put a stop to this. And all of a sudden the man it's coming down on them. And this is about an hour into the film, and it's nowhere near like ramping up to a finish. It's still ramping up to like a third act in this movie. Tiny Lister is walking around. He's like a big bad, but he's not quite a big bad because there's some voice that is over him who we never see in the movie named Roscoe. And it's insane. The movie makes absolutely no sense. It is gratuitous. It is nothing but F-bombs and cursing all over the place. They're extremely thinly drawn characters. There is a gay guy, a gay man who is just out of prison, who is like just flaming all over the place and very flamboyant, and a character who you could not get away with in 2021, let alone maybe 2005, but this movie's from 1998. And I don't know where the hell this movie is going. Master P has, some kind of contract that he's not allowed to be seen without his skull cap on. He's got his skull cap on even when he goes to bed. When he goes to bed, his lady takes his skull cap on, but then mysteriously the flickers from the candles hide his head so you can't see his head. I don't know what's going on with Master P's head, his hairline. I don't understand. He's the writer, the director, co-director, I think. I don't think he actually directed. Michael Martin's the person that's given the credit, but I think Master P is more or less saying what is happening. He's definitely the person bankrolling this as the head of No Limit, which in 1998 is at the heights of its popularity, its fame, and its money-making power as an independent independent music label. And Master P, rightfully, can't knock him, trying to move his way into feature films through No Limit as well. Can't knock the man's hustle. AJ Johnson, a little bit goes a long way. There's a little bit of him in Friday, but now he's lucked on to Master P, who has just let loose to be the most AJist of AJ Johnsons. And that is just, way too much. Couple good lines, but just way too much. And this movie just doesn't know what it wants to be, at least not to me, until an hour and 15 minutes into this movie.
It's an hour and 33 minutes, folks.
It's an hour and 33 minutes film. But an hour and 15 minutes into this movie, I realized something. I realized that I was looking at this movie 100% from the wrong perspective.
Oh.
This movie, I got the hookup. Perhaps, arguably, even more so than our beloved Black Dynamite, is the direct kin to the blaxploitation comedies of the 70s. This is a direct kin to your Dolomite movies. This is a direct kin to films like the $6 million or $6 nigga.
$6,000.
The $6,000 nigga. This is the next step in those evolution of films. Guerrilla filmmaking, independent filmmaking, very, very, very broad comedy, bawdy, irreverent, obscenities all over the place. Thinly drawn caricatures, stereotypes, a script that is more an outline of where we're supposed to be at the beginning of the scene and where we're supposed to be at the end of the scene, and whatever you say in the middle, as long as we get there, it goes, the camera is running, and action. Let's keep it moving. Direction that does not know how to capture a scene, let alone focus the camera on it. And actors, all of them, who are just there having a good time to say, I did a movie, right? AJ Johnson is a comedian at this time, and he's just happy that he's got a movie where it's not just 5 minutes and he gets to just be his full AJ Johnson. Master P is a master of his universe, and he's going to be the big man in charge in this movie, which means he's going to be, the co-lead, the romantic lead, and also the hero who gets to punch out the big bad, who was Tiny Lister, in a fight that absolutely makes no sense. But there it is. It's his movie. He gets to do that. Gretchen Palmer, it gets to be the female lead. They give her, some funny lines, but weirdly, as the female lead, she is allowed to have a little bit of agency when you think about it. She is a very openly sexual person. She is upfront about the sex that she likes and the sex that she wants. But she is also a woman that, while she has hidden behind a picture, she has dildos and sexual pleasures aplenty. Behind a screen, she has a literal bat cave set up in her apartment, because she is also allowed to have an intelligence about her at all. So weirdly, she's a woman who has more agency in this film than you would ever see in those films in the 70s. So this is a step up from there. I'm like, okay, all right, I see where you're going. The story makes no sense. It's a meandering comedy, but there are people who will watch this and will enjoy it. I will say that I laughed out loud, not much, but there was one moment when Master P is talking about going over his girlfriend's house, and AJ Johnson says, I'm going to be there too. And girlfriend is like, I'm going to have on like a red dress and no panties. And Master P is, I'm going to have on my Scully, my big shirt, and my jeans. And AJ Johnson says, I'm going to, wait a minute. I'm going, because I wrote it down because it actually cracked me the hell up.
You wrote it down.
I did. AJ Johnson says, tell her I'm going to be in some gym shocks and a backstage pass from a Kumo D concert. I cracked up. I rewound that moment like about 2-3 times. I did. It cracked me up. It really did crack me up. So, looking at this film, yes, an hour and 15 minutes in, my image of this film turned. And you know why it did, Vince? Because at that moment, I wasn't sitting alone anymore. At that moment, I was sitting in a restaurant in Brooklyn with you and Dorian Missick and Omar Dorsey, and listening to the three of you go on about the charm of Dolomite. And I'm watching this film, and from that lens, no, is this like a charming film? No. But if I look at it askew from that lens, I was able to garner a little bit of appreciation out of it. And
You rat soup eating, no business having mother, you know what? You are not going to besmirch the name of Dolomite with this.
What? Are you caping up for Dolomite versus this? This is a better movie than Dolomite. I'm going to say it's a better made movie. Let's put it that way. Dolomite's probably a better story. This is a better made movie than Dolomite.
You know what this movie is? This movie is the product of people who thought it was easy to make Friday.
Well, that's very true. That is very true. 100%.
Friday is so seamless.
Comes out in 1995.
And so well put together, right, in 3 years prior, that there was a slew of these urban comedies that did not understand the craft of Friday. The direction of F. Gary Gray, the script that DJ Pooh and Ice Cube put together, and that wonderful cast.
Yes.
halfway through this movie, it's like they don't even want to make the movie anymore. And this is one thing that it does have in common with the worst of the blaxploitation films, that you can tell that they've just run out of steam and they don't know what to do anymore, but they got this film stock left. They throw in a car chase.
That's true.
As soon as they threw in the car chase, I said, yeah, Master P is done. He don't have nothing else. He don't have nothing else in the tank. So now we're going to have a car chase.
He's trying to inject some action into the film.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that it was
is a terrible film. Master P, of all of those, those sort of rap kingpins, you know, Jermaine Dupri and Irv Gotti and Puffy, you know, he's actually my favorite of them. Like, I actually really like Master P as a businessman.
Okay.
And like when you hear him talk.
Right.
Like it's like, okay, like I kind of dig Master P. Master P in this film has zero personality and chemistry at all.
Yeah, he doesn't have chemistry with anybody.
Like, if I gave someone a dart and say, throw the dart at the guy in charge, who's the guy on screen that must be in charge? And everyone would, without fail, would say, oh, well, it must be that guy. Because the only way he's in the middle of this is that this is his thing.
Right.
Pivoting back to Friday and the craft and the artistry of Friday and the cast in Friday, apparently one of the best decisions that F. Gary Gray in the script made was keeping Anthony Johnson in 2 scenes.
That's true. Okay.
This is the most annoying little man in this film. You're talking about the profanity in the beginning. Let me just tell you, I would have turned this off. He would have had me turn the like I'm going to talk about how I've seen this film, because I do think there are some things to admire about the film. But Anthony Johnson single-handedly would have had me turn the channel.
Right. Yes, I agree. It's too much A.J. Johnson. Absolutely correct.
The direction is not even worth mentioning. The script, I swear this is one of these films where the script is written on the run, because it goes from moment to moment, and it feels like someone is writing something down on the back of a pad, and then they go ahead and shoot it. The plot makes no sense whatsoever. Not only does it not make sense, it is so thin that they have to keep padding plots to the point where then it gets absurd, where it's people wearing masks who are black, but they're pretending to be white, and then there's a white man pretending to be black. John Witherspoon is in here as a TV repairman who also has this sort of black Hugh Hefner situation going on in the back of the TV repair shop. Why? I don't know. We got to get some breasts in here. So we just going to put that in there for sure. Why not?
Master P promised a bunch. Well, wow, Helen Martin. Yeah, okay.
I really, really hope they paid Helen Martin well, because to have Helen Martin come into this film just to be crass as she is for a scene and a half, I thought was disgraceful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you slide with this. His girlfriend has this sexual agency, and she all right, fine. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and let you slide with that.
She does.
We're gonna pretend they just didn't want to make dildo jokes. Like, we're gonna pretend that was Master P, and they were trying to show that a woman can have her own agency in 1998, and it's not going to be defined by sexuality in the male gaze. What's wrong with you for that? Because Look, why not? This film is terrible from beginning to end. For a film that is an hour and 33 minutes, it is almost a martial art the way that it drags. Like, it's almost like, I wonder if it is deliberate to have it drag as much as it does. It is terrible. I didn't enjoy one moment of it. I'm glad you got a laugh, because I didn't laugh. That moment you're talking about where they played every take.
I know.
He said something, and then they just, like, usually they play that type of thing after the credits where they show all the different takes, but they say, hey, let's just play all the takes right here. I didn't think any of them were funny.
Yeah. It dulled the moment of the first line when they repeated all of them. But the first one, it was funny.
Yes. I did not enjoy this film at all.
I'm not saying...
Having said that, much like you, I'm not even going to say begrudgingly, I admire the fact that this film exists.
Mm-hmm.
This actually, I would actually group this film with State Property and to a certain extent Belly. Like, I do have admiration for this group of films that these Black creatives that come out of hip hop made the decision and said, we're going to make a movie. And then people said, and let's be clear, I'm people. Like I'm saying, people said, but I'm people. People said, you have no skill whatsoever in this fashion. You don't know anything about movies. You don't know anything about writing scripts. You don't know anything about acting. You don't know anything about directing. You don't know anything about movies whatsoever. You making a movie is a terrible idea. And they said, we have created ourselves. We have built this empire out of nothing. Why can't we make a movie? And then they made a movie.
Right.
And I think it's a terrible movie. But I admire the fact that they made a movie. And there is an audience for this movie. I'm pretty sure I've Got the Hookup in bits. You know, because I've always been an appointment man at the barbershop. Like, I've always, look, I'm coming in at 10. I won't get my hair cut at 10. I'm going to hang out in it, but then I'm going to leave. But whatever that hour chunk is that I've been in barbershop since 1998, I've probably seen this film 3 times.
Okay.
Because it was played
right
with those films like State Property, like Three Strikes, like that whole group of films that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. That TV up in the corner, it was playing on there. And it has an audience. It's a film that was made by Black people, frankly, for Black people. And I think it's terrible. And I'm so, it's very much a film that we would only watch in Mother May I. But look, this is a prime example of the type of art that, frankly, we champion. Like, this is what we talk about all the time.
It's not a good film, but the one thing I will say, as opposed to...
No. It's a terrible film.
It's not a good film. But as opposed to State Property and Belly, which try so hard, especially Belly, to be serious. Like, they take themselves too seriously, right? The thing that I will say about a film like I've Got the Hookup is that it knows what it is and knows what it ain't. It's not trying to be anything more than this dumb, silly comedy. That's all it's trying to be. And in that, it is a dumb, silly comedy. Is it funny? Not to me. But like you said, this is a film that has an audience. I think if you cut if you cut about
An hour and 33 minutes.
If you cut about 350 of the curse words, you cut by a good 45 minutes from the film. You have a movie that maybe an even broader audience might be able to appreciate. I think that there are some bits that are so gratuitous, like the whole, the kind of like strip bar scene where I think Master P just basically promised a bunch of strippers that he'd give them a role in the movie, so he had to write a scene in it for them. And John Witherspoon was but so only too happy to be in that scene. That probably paid him with that scene. Bang,
bang, bang, bang, bang.
You know what I mean? So, I think if you took out some of that gratuity and yes, you dial back A.J. Johnson, I think this is a film that pretty much, says A.J. Johnson is a comedian. So like, this is what Fred Williamson did with Richard Pryor in Adios Amigos. Gave him an outline and said, just be funny from A to B. And he did that to A.J. Johnson, and A.J. Johnson trying to, channel Tommy Davidson, but just gets it 100% wrong. It is just... Or
Chris Tucker. Because I swear everything in this, they're just trying to... And you see it. Like, you see these moments, it's like, oh, they've got a little person in Friday. Well, we're going to have two little people.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tucker takes the marijuana with the dust in it, and he clucks like a chicken. We're going to have somebody cluck like a chicken. Tiny Lester in Debo is a bad dude. Well, Tiny Lester is an even badder dude in this.
Yeah, kind of.
And it just, again, I almost feel sorry for them because you could tell until they were deep into it that they realized that although Friday looks effortless, and we talked about this, like Friday looks effortless, but the level of craft in Friday is remarkable.
Yeah, yeah. Friday is
so it looks like this kind of frolicking, free-flowing deal, but when you really dig into Friday, that is quite a film. And no one involved in the production of I Got the Hookup is up for that challenge.
That's very true. That being said, I'm not going to say I'm rooting for this film. I'm not going to say I recommend this film. I'm not saying that I would see this as a bad film. I just see this film for what it is, and that made me appreciate the film a little bit more than I was, the first hour and 15 minutes into the movie. After that switch flipped, the last 20 minutes, I looked at it from that point of view. And much like those films, it didn't know how to end. And it just, but there you go. There you go. It's the descendant of those films. And it's what it is.
Yeah. I actually land closer to you than not. Like, I thought this was a terrible film, but like I said, I admire the fact that Master P and company did this.
Yeah.
Like, I love that they did. And again, in my mind, this is quintessential hip hop culture. Like we don't have the schooling. We don't have the formal training. We don't have this. We don't. And yet, we make something. And sometimes you make Eric B as president, and sometimes you make I Got the Hookup. But you made it. And I will say this, comparing it to Friday. Friday got two sequels. You saw I Got the Hookup got a sequel like a couple of years ago, though.
Yeah, I think like last year or the year before, I Got the Hookup too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was sort of vaguely interested. Like I watched the trailer for it, and they're all like it's like 20 years later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of vaguely interested in that. Like Ice Cube and them have been threatening to make Last Friday for the past 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, how did I Got the Hookup put a bow on the I Got the Hookup saga before Friday put a bow on the Friday saga?
I think it's because Master P needed the money. Ice Cube doesn't. And I don't know, Master P probably doesn't even need the money. Master P just needed something to do. I don't think he needs the money.
Right. Ice Cube and Mike Epps, and I'm sorry that we didn't watch Three Strikes, because DJ P wrote the script for that too.
I was just going to say that because it would be interesting, because that is pretty much, it'll be interesting to see where his talents took him with Three Strikes, which, while on its surface it doesn't strike you as it has anything to say, but it actually might, because it is talking about the whole 3-strike rule.
Well, again, I really do think the alchemy of Friday, like those 3 tiers of the direction, the script, and the cast.
Mm-hmm.
And the cast, obviously, Ice Cube, Regina King, John Witherspoon,
Nia Long.
I just forgot how did I just forget the sister's name that plays Ice Cube's mom? Craig's mom.
From
227. Not 227.
No, from Amen.
But she's done interesting work since then.
Oh man, I'm waiting for the missionaries to
I was about to say, nobody popped in and said it. Anyway, all of them have done interesting work on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, F. Gary Gray has gone on to be a good director.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not familiar with DJ Pooh as
Anna Maria
Horsford. Yes. So I was kind of interested to see, but the other thing I wish I kind of had time for, if I'd have been able to really just sort of sit in I Got the Hook Up. Next Friday isn't as good as Friday, but I think I'm kind of fond of it. So now I wanted to watch Next Friday and I Got the Hook Up and kind of compare them.
Well, here's the thing. After Friday, I went to the next week. I have not returned to one of the Friday films. I've not seen any of them. You've
never seen Next Friday or Friday After Next?
Nope. I haven't seen one of them.
And that's a choice? That's a choice?
It was a choice at the time, and then it's just become a thing. It was a choice at the time because, just kneeling at the altar of Chris Tucker and what he brought to that film. And at that time, Mike Epps was more known as a comedian as opposed to an actor. So I never warmed to him as a comedian. So I wasn't looking forward to seeing him as an actor, especially knowing that he was going to be stepping into Chris Tucker's shoes. So I just stayed away from the film. And then I just haven't had a moment or reason to return to it. I mean, of course, I have a reason now because of the mission, but it just hasn't come up.
It's not bad. It's better than I Got the Hook Up.
Well, I mean, true. I believe that. I believe on its surface, I believe that. Yes. So, and I don't think it's comparable at all. I don't think it's trying to do the same thing.
Well, I think all these films are the children of Friday.
They are the children of Friday, but I think that this film is trying to do something different. I think Friday is decidedly, while it's Friday is, yes, what gave birth to all of these artists trying to live and create in this space. What Friday is, the message of it, the story of it, I think is trying to be something different than I Got the Hook Up. Certainly Belly and State Property and some of those other films.
Right. Well, I meant the comedies. Like I think I kind of grouped them together just because it's the hip hop dudes doing them. But yeah, State Property and Belly certainly had different aspirations then I got the hookup.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So the question is, and I would say it seems like a rhetorical question in Mother May I, but you never know what happens in Mother May I.
You never know.
The question is, Lynn, would you recommend I Got the Hookup?
Here's the thing. No.
Oh boy. Okay.
I can't recommend I Got the Hookup. The shame of it is, though, the reason that I can't recommend it is threefold. One, it's too gratuitous in its language and its in the nudity. It's too long, and it's too much A.J. Johnson. You cut those three things down. This is a film this is one of those you put it on at the barbecue and you just wow out.
What are you talking about? First of all, you said it's too long. It's an hour and 33 minutes. And then you said you cut A.J. Johnson. He's the star of the film.
Okay. Well, I said I wouldn't recommend it. I said it if we could cut him out, but we can't.
The reason I can't recommend Jaws is because of the shark. If there's a point where the shark isn't in Jaws, then maybe. You said it's too much A.J. Johnson. He's the star of the film.
It's too much. There's your problem. He's the star of the film. Right. Would you recommend I Got the Hookup?
No. I'm glad it exists, but you certainly don't have to expose yourself to it, missionaries.
No, you don't. Don't do that to yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Don't watch I Got the Hookup. That's a hookup you don't need. You don't need that.
Wait. No, is this me or is this you? Because I'm here.
Anyway, George Kimona asks, are we watching the end of the mission in real time? It ain't that deep, George. It ain't that deep. We're fine. And Rob Holly says, you're not going to disrespect state property. Oh. I point you to our archives where we reviewed state property. And
I recommend this. If you've been in a barbershop since 2005, it's too late. You've already seen it.
There you go. All right. Yeah, you'd have to be in a barbershop. I don't think they're playing this in the beauty salon. This is not playing in the beauty parlor. All right, before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week on Mother May I, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you all to send all of your feedback. Email the Micheaux Mission at gmail.com. Like and follow us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Micheaux Mission. Go to MicheauxMission.com, our website, 2 Men, 1 Podcast, every Black film ever made, where you can hit swag and find out all of our cool designs that we have available for your download, your buying pleasure, courtesy of our friends at T Public. And speaking of friends, the Micheaux Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, curated podcast for your earbuds. Go to thepodglomerate.com and stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, May 21st, 7 p.m. via Scener. It's gonna happen. Vincent Len, watch party. Madea goes to jail. You chose it. This is the movie that you chose, ladies and gentlemen. All you missionaries made it so. And Vince and I are going to sit down and watch this film with you on Friday, May 21st. And boy, it's going to be a good time. Next week on the Micheaux Mission, it's Vince's turn to select a film. And he's got an interesting one. Vince dug in the crates, ladies and gentlemen. What did you pull out for them, Vince?
Hey, fool. We're going to watch a movie with Mr. T. Mr. T. First name Mr., second name period, last name T. We're going to watch DC Cab, fool, 1983. Mr. T. Then I got something to tell you. Not once have I gotten tired of Mr. T imitations. Not once. Since Mr. T has been a thing, have I been tired of Mr. T and sounding like Mr. T. Mr. T. There's no lack of gibber and jabber. Hither and whither, we're going to talk about Mr. T next week on DC Cab or Mother May I may or may not use this voice the entire episode. I don't know. We'll have to see. I pity the fool that doesn't join us.
I'm sorry. All I hear is Eddie Murphy. Hey, boy. Hey, boy.
Eddie Murphy got a Mr. T imitation. Everybody got a Mr. T imitation.
Hey, boy. I'm going to bend over now.
We ain't going to have that kind of talk about Mr. T. Mr. T should be respected. First name is Mr. You got to call him Mr. when you call him. Because that's his first name. Mr. T.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do, Vince?
He wear all them gold chains to signify the chains that my ancestors had to wear. But now I wear gold chains.
You know what?
That's an actual quote from Mr. T explaining the gold chains. He didn't link the feather earrings to slavery, but he linked the gold chains. Mr. T.
I'm gonna have a very special box of Mr. T cereal next week, just for you, just for the show.
Is that the Mr. T cereal that was part of the cartoon Mr. T, where Mr. T played a gymnastics coach?
That's right.
And him and his team would get into adventures. No, Mr. T don't do gymnastics. Somehow he was the coach. It was the 80s. The 80s was strange. People left their children with Mr. T. And then they do gymnastics.
Just drive across the country in a van with Mr. T.
Across in the van. It was a dog with a mohawk. It was a Mr. T dog. It was strange even then. But we all let it happen because it was Mr. T. Sat on Mr. T's lap. The kids say no to drugs. Here's the first lady on Mr. T's lap. It was the 80s.
So, DC Cab next week. Well, Orson Pixels wants to know you'd have to do the whole show with Mr. T next week, man.
Whole show. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll have to see. I pity the fool that's not going to be there to listen for themselves. Mr. T.
Until then, he's Vince. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.